Have you ever wondered why some people seem to absorb languages effortlessly while you're still struggling with basic conversations after years of study? What if I told you that one of history's greatest scientific minds discovered a method to trick your brain into learning any language almost instantly? A method so powerful it could transform a beginner into someone who thinks and dreams in a new language without the painful memorization most of us endure. Has this ever happened to you? You're trying to have a conversation in your target language, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank. That Spanish or French word you've studied 100 times vanishes into thin air, leaving you stammering and frustrated. Don't worry. It's not your fault. The problem isn't your memory or intelligence. It's the fundamental approach most language courses have programmed into your brain. The legendary physicist Richard Feynman, known for explaining complex quantum mechanics to beginners, applied his brilliant mind to crack the code of language acquisition. What he discovered was shocking. The traditional methods we've all been taught actually create invisible barriers in our minds, forcing our brains to work twice as hard for half the results. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Think about it. Every time you encounter a foreign word like libro in Spanish, your brain performs an exhausting three-step dance. Hear libro, translate to book in English, and then finally understand the concept. This constant mental translation creates a cognitive traffic jam that makes fluid conversation nearly impossible. It's like trying to drive while constantly checking a map. You can do it, but you'll never move smoothly or confidently. But Feynman discovered something remarkable. Our brains aren't designed to learn languages through translation at all. They're designed to connect words directly to reality, to images, feelings, and experiences. This direct neural pathway is what allows children to absorb languages at astonishing speeds, while adults struggle for years. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might completely transform your relationship with language learning forever. Feynman's revolutionary approach didn't just make language acquisition faster, it made it virtually effortless by rewiring the brain's natural learning pathways. Imagine being able to hear macchina in Italian and instantly visualizing a car without translating to English first, feeling the steering wheel in your hands, hearing the engine purr, seeing the road ahead. This direct connection to sensory experience is the key that unlocks fluency, allowing you to think in your target language rather than constantly shuttling between linguistic systems. The secret lies in a fundamental shift in how your brain processes language information. And the best part, anyone can master this technique regardless of age, background, or previous experience. But this direct connection method is just the beginning of Feynman's revolutionary approach. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because there's a hidden truth about language learning that transformed my entire mindset. The direct connection method is just the foundation of the Feynman approach. The true breakthrough happens when you discover what I call the teaching revelation. If you found value in these insights today, join our community of language learners and critical thinkers by hitting that subscribe button. I share powerful techniques that can transform how you approach languages forever. You see, most people fall into the trap of passive learning. They listen to podcasts, read books, use language apps, and believe they're making genuine progress. But here's the shocking reality. Your brain is incredibly efficient at creating an illusion of understanding. It convinces you that you've mastered something when you've barely scratched the surface. The real transformation happens when you attempt to explain what you've learned out loud. This simple act creates a profound cognitive shift that most language learners never experience. When you try to teach a In concept, even if it's just to yourself in the mirror, your brain suddenly has nowhere to hide. The gaps in your knowledge become immediately apparent, forcing your mind to organize scattered information into coherent patterns. This verbalization process is the missing link in most language journeys. By speaking out loud, you're not just reviewing information, you're actively reconstructing it. This seemingly simple practice can multiply your retention by up to 27 times compared to passive reading or listening. That's not a small improvement. It's a complete paradigm shift in how your brain processes language. But here's where the journey takes an unexpected turn. The quality of your concentration dramatically impacts everything about language acquisition. Most people study with one eye on their phone, constantly interrupting their focus with notifications and distractions. They might study for hours, but make minimal progress because their attention is fragmented. The decision to structure your learning differently creates remarkable results. Instead of long, distracted sessions, break your study time into 30-minute blocks of complete immersion, followed by 10-minute breaks. During these concentrated blocks, eliminate every possible distraction and give your undivided attention to the language. This approach aligns perfectly with how your brain naturally processes and consolidates information. The intense focus activates deep learning pathways, while the strategic breaks allow your mind to cement what you've absorbed. 1 hour of this focused practice is worth several hours of distracted learning. What's fascinating about this method is how it creates a virtuous cycle in your language development. As your concentration muscle strengthens, your ability to visualize and connect words directly to experiences improves. As those connections deepen, your ability to explain concepts becomes more fluid. Each element reinforces the others, creating an upward spiral of rapid improvement. The journey toward language fluency doesn't have to be the long, frustrating struggle that most people experience. By applying these principles consistently, you'll notice a dramatic acceleration in your progress, often within the first week of practice. The hidden power of this approach lies in how it works with your brain's natural architecture rather than against it. Write in the comments, "I'm breaking the translation habit," if you're ready to transform how you approach language learning. But here's where we encounter a fundamental revelation about how our brains actually work. Despite what traditional education has taught us, your mind wasn't designed as a storage box for memorizing disconnected lists of words. Evolution crafted our brains to connect, visualize, and create meaning through sensory-rich experiences. This insight completely transforms the language learning journey. When you come across the Spanish word manzana, the conventional approach tells you to memorize manzana, apple, and repeat it until it sticks. But this method fights against your brain's natural architecture. Instead, picture a vibrant red apple. Imagine its weight in your hand. Visualize biting into its crisp flesh and taste that perfect balance of sweetness and tartness. Feel the juice running down your chin. Smell its fresh aroma. By creating this multisensory experience, you're engaging neural networks that are vastly more powerful than those used for rote memorization. Each sense you involve creates additional pathways to retrieve that word, anchoring it in your experiential memory. This is the same reason why you can instantly recall the smell of your childhood home or the taste of your favorite food. Sensory experiences create deep, lasting impressions. The beauty of this approach is how it aligns with your brain's inherent strengths rather than working against them. It's not about forcing yourself to study harder, it's about studying smarter. By leveraging the way your mind naturally processes and retains information, this represents a complete paradigm shift in language acquisition. The practical implementation of what I call the Feynman method combines 3 powerful techniques into one cohesive system. First, structure your learning into short, intensely focused blocks of 30 minutes, followed by 10-minute breaks. During these sessions, eliminate all distractions and immerse yourself completely in the language as if nothing else exists. Second, always connect words directly to vivid images and sensations rather than translations. Create rich, multisensory experiences for each new concept you encounter. And third, solidify your understanding by explaining what you've learned out loud, either to yourself or to someone else. This systematic approach creates a powerful feedback loop that drives unprecedented results. The focused sessions maximize your ability to form strong neural connections. The visualization technique ensures those connections bypass translation and link directly to meaning, and the explanation process forces your brain to organize that information into coherent patterns that you can access fluently. The impact of implementing all three elements together is far greater than using any one technique alone. It's like the difference between trying to light a fire with a single match versus using a blowtorch. The integrated approach ignites learning at an entirely different level, potentially accelerating your language acquisition by up to 27 times. This method doesn't just help you learn faster, it fundamentally changes your relationship with the language. You begin to think in your target language rather than constantly translating, opening doorways to cultural nuances and expressions that were previously inaccessible. Write in the comments, "Visualization is my new superpower," if you're excited to try this sensory-rich approach to language learning. So, there you have it. A complete reimagining of how to approach language learning, inspired by one of the greatest minds of the 20th century. What makes this method so powerful is that it works regardless of your age, background, or previous experience with languages. It simply aligns with how your brain naturally processes information rather than fighting against it. I'm genuinely curious which of these techniques resonated most with you. Drop a comment saying, "My brain was made for this," if you made it all the way through and are excited to implement these methods in your own language journey. Your experiences and insights really matter to this community we're building together. If this approach has shifted your perspective even slightly, that like button is a small way to let me know this content was helpful to you. It also helps others discover these ideas who might be struggling with the same language learning challenges you've faced. I share insights like these every week, breaking down complex learning concepts into practical, actionable strategies, just like the ones we explored today. If you haven't already joined our community of language learners and critical thinkers, hitting subscribe means you'll never miss these powerful techniques that can transform your learning experience. And if you're ready to take this even further, I've created a video right here that reveals the optimal daily schedule for language learning using these exact principles. Click and continue with me over there to discover how to structure your practice for maximum results with minimum time investment. I'll see you in the next one.